Welcome back to the kitchen. You are here with Team M.A.D Rational in the building with your man Twitch for Life, MrBroadcast, Arthur Yves, and a special guest with us today, Mr. Mike Bass.
What's up, man?
And this is our first episode of 2019.
MrBroadcast 2019, ladies and gentlemen. All right, America is on.
Y'all ready to get it started? So, like, the original plan for tonight was to have this R. Kelly conversation. Okay. Now, I don't necessarily... Okay, like, I have a whole different view about having the R. Kelly conversation than I think a lot of people do, right? And it's a power thing.
Yeah,
right?
me too.
It has to do with if we continue to talk about him, we continue to give him power and continue to make people more curious about, oh, I remember Bump and Grind, or oh, I remember Chocolate Factory. The next thing you know, they go listen to it, which is why his streaming sales are higher than they've ever been in the last 10 years right now.
I think so. And I also think that tying in someone's personal life with their professional life can ultimately destroy a lot of lives, including his. Like, it's not only about R. Kelly. Right. It's also about those girls that were abused.
Exactly.
Yeah, because the thing is, what if they don't want their identities to be showed? Like, they might be 50-50 on the fence and you just released it. You know? So you might have that situation too.
Right. It's quite inconsiderate in that.
You got to consider all angles. And there's two sides to the story. Why not have both sides of the story? Why not have R. Kelly be like, matter of fact, I want to sue you behind? Like, because you want to have both sides of the story anyway.
Yeah, for sure.
Instead of making it one-sided, because then when you have one-sided story, it's one angle and one view. It's from, especially with Lifetime, they like to have one angle, which is women empowerment. I'm all about women empowerment. But that type of women empowerment is to hurt somebody else, which is the opposite sex, which is male. So males get caught in that spectrum.
Right, and that in itself is about a balance of power shift. You know what I'm saying? It's not necessarily about simply empowering one person. It's at the cost of someone else.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah.
You know, so my idea instead of that.
Looking like a pilgrim? Yeah.
So that's the chick from Mary Poppins.
Right.
The pigeon lady that feed the birds.
Right.
For tuppence a bag.
Right.
Like, why he looks so close?
I don't know.
Why? What is he wearing? Those are like Ugg boots.
It seems like a Victorian style outfit.
They are in fact Ugg boots. But they're the new like fashion. I think it was like a Balenciaga like collaboration type of thing.
Well, I'll tell you what, he stands out.
Yeah. I think that's the point. Him and like all the other there's not oh there you go.
Yeah, that's
like,
the other one.
Folks like that.
Yeah.
It's not outrage marketing, it's it's the idea of outrage marketing. Like, the more people you get talking about you, the more your name gets passed around. Same thing with R. Kelly. I mean, going back to R. Kelly in a way.
Yep.
Yeah.
The
that's
more
true.
people think about you, the more they're also going to go look at.
It's omnipresence.
Yeah. So that's what they're doing.
Yeah, they're keeping themselves relevant outside of their craft. You know what? You know what's weird to me is that, in a way, some of the old timers didn't have to do that. They put out greater music than what they had before.
Yeah.
That's that. Well, they did, like George Clinton.
Yep.
Yeah, George Clinton did some outrageous stuff, like, for his time. You know what I mean? Even at the concerts, you know, like the Mothership Connection and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, that shit was out there. You know what I'm saying? And I think the only reason, like, the stuff like the Young Jock and the Usher and all of that, I think the reason it bothers us is because we coming up, like growing up, especially us in the age category we're in, those guys were the players. You know what I mean? Like, they were the players. Like, those were the artists that we played in the club when we were trying to get the girl.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now to see the artists that we played in the club in order to try to get the girl halfway look like a girl, like it throws you off.
No, I agree. And I think the other part of that is because that's not the natural look we're used to seeing them at. See, George Clinton was always George Clinton.
That's real.
Rick James was always Rick James.
Yeah.
Prince was always Prince.
Right.
That's right.
Prince always wore female clothing. That was his thing. Prince made it okay for Prince to wear female clothing because that was it. Like, you just didn't know anything else. That's Prince. You didn't say nothing. It's Prince, right? But Usher come out in a Prince fit, everybody asking questions.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And in that picture, you got a jock right there. I don't know if you've seen the new picture where he got the blue hair with the.
I seen it.
So I'm saying
I didn't put that one up because it looked rough.
Right, but you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, it looked real rough.
That's not. It's
At least
going down,
clean.
jock.
That's not
Jock. Your hair going down.
What
your
boy Ryan Davis said, Aunt Jock.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You know. Like, Usher, you made videos where the girl stole your Usher chain. Like, no, dude, you babaloo bopping on us. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what to do right now, bro.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So,
well, it's shock value. It's not like they're taking all their clothes off, but it's to get like everybody's been saying, it's to get the attention. Like I remember being here at the drive. It's going down. You know, it brings that memory back. But like you said, it's a double-edged sword because you're bringing back memories with new memories, and they aren't really that. It's not you.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I went from my hat to maybe like red hair and it's straight, I'm no longer Mike Bass. I changed it to another Mike Bass. It's not the identity of what I was when I made hits with this hat.
Right. You go with red hair, we might look at you like, are you Sting?
Right. Right. I got a little Irish in my family. So yeah. On my mother's side, actually, full Irish. You go back 2-3 generations. So I wouldn't be far from a ginger. Okay. Just gotta paint me red, and I'm good.
But this kind of goes into the question I asked. I think I asked you a couple of days ago in a text message. I was like, how do you feel about the state of the game?
Yeah, man. I just feel like there are so many challenges because the market's saturated. And it's saturated by people that can make a hit within 5 minutes and put it out and probably make $1 million, $2 million, $3 million off it, or even more. And because of that, it makes you feel like if I take my good time and make a big hit and it spreads all over the world, there's a possibility that somebody makes something in 5 minutes, even if it is sheer luck or it's just the fact that they are involved with the lifestyle and the culture, and they just rap about the lifestyle or sing about the lifestyle and culture, and they surpass you. Yeah. It makes you feel like I wasted my time. Let me go get a 9-to-5 now because they're better than me. It makes your head spin. But I think honestly, in this business, you have to be really serious about where you want to go and never give up on it and keep pushing forward and not worry about if you're gonna gain that success quickly or slowly. You just got to focus on your goals and just move forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could definitely see that.
It's funny you say that, man. I don't know if you had a chance to see or follow, but Swiss Beats posted like some inspirational stuff today on Instagram, and other people have said stuff like that. But he put this collage.
Did the same thing.
This is true. He did.
He did.
He did. But he put it together in like a collage of 7 to 8 slides or whatever, and the one that. All of them stood out, but the one on the last one that stood out in order of that, it was the last one, was he broke down a lot of successful people in the ages that they were successful at, like Harrison Ford, in his 30s, he was still a carpenter. J.K. Rowling at 31 was, a single mother on welfare, and he's just breaking down all these different founders of stuff, and not just, entertainers, but owners of big brand companies, designers and stuff like that in their mid to late 30s and into 40s didn't break out, and it was about not giving up but finding your drive and your focus. He even broke down the guys who did Uber, the people who did Airbnb, people who made Instagram, the people who made Pinterest, and like all these slides about these guys, and it wasn't this I'm, a teenager or early 20 who was doing this. And these were older people. I mean, at the end of the day, let's look at what is now what considered the biggest company, at least in America, Amazon.
Yep.
They say it took over Microsoft recently in the last week.
Wow.
Oh boy, was sitting at that desk in his 30, you know what I'm saying? Just him at a desk with a half a little put together sign saying, saying Amazon.
But even like a decade into Amazon being Amazon, they still hadn't been profitable.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
For
not because in the bigger perspective.
Yeah. But it's like, you can't ever give up if you know where you're going. Like Amazon's one of the things, they knew where they were going. They were like, all right, cool, we'll hit these losses. We're gonna take these losses. Watch out there now here with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right, man. And actually, on that same picture, I know the oldest guy on there was Colonel Sanders with KFC.
Yeah,
67 years old. He started his company. You know why he started? Because he was working at the post office, and he. When he retired, he wasn't able to get any retirement money at all.
Wow.
So what happened, he knew how to cook chicken. He had a chicken recipe. Started KFC.
That's crazy.
Went from zero to hero. Millionaire.
Wow.
Dorothy Steele. I know you don't recognize her, but at 88, decided to become an actress. Starred in Black Panther. She was the older lady in Black Panther. At 88, started her acting career.
All right, it's time to put a meme up. Goals.
Lands the role in Black Panther.
Hashtag don't give up goals.
This hashtag is never too late.
Yeah, it's never too late.
So,
yeah.
But I mean, just to, to go on what you're saying, man, it's just how you look at it, your focus and where you're trying to go. And it's a focus that has to be about you, but bigger than you for you to be able to sustain it. Right. You have to realize the bigger picture in you and those around you who don't see your vision, and they take their own negative disbeliefs in themselves and push it upon you. And it's not that they don't believe you, it's by not believing in their own self. It allows them to then look at you and say you can't do something because they can't even do something that's not even related to what you're trying to do, but because they can't do what they believe in themselves, they don't see how you can do what you believe in yourself to be true.
And hence a hater is born.
Yeah.
Well, that's true.
I'm glad y'all are saying what you're saying, because I got two things to say about that. First is that, like, realistically, no one's made it and continue to make it when they're comparing themselves to somebody else. It's kind of what you were saying.
Exactly.
And the other thing is, and I feel like this is by no means objective. This is completely just my opinion, but it seems to be true, and it's seemed to held truth throughout these 30 years I've lived. But art, the best art, still takes time. Like these tracks that are coming out nowadays, kind of what you're saying, they can put something together in 5 minutes, but it's gonna be in and out of your ear in 5 minutes. Whereas a track that's really music, any kind of art really that's had time devoted to it, tends to stick around a little longer and tends to be appreciated a bit more.
Yeah, no joke.
I mean, we kind of touched that on about, I think, 4 episodes ago. We were talking about the charts. Yeah, the Billboard charts.
Yeah.
And, one of the comments I made, which I totally agree with you saying on that one, I'll go back to, is, the days of treating your first like your last and your last like your first is non-existence. It's now about what's the next, how fast can I put something out?
Right.
There's some artists who, again, indirectly competing with other artists and pushing themselves and not realizing that they're even doing it. I pick up on this by the comments they make of, I'll do like 4 or 5 songs a day, then I get in the studio with such and such, he's doing 8 to 10. Well, but what are you're comparing your 4 to 5 to his 8 to 10, but how much effort are you really putting in your 4 to 5 compared to how much effort they're putting in their 8 to 10? Because their 8 to 10, even though it's 8 to 10, could still be their hardest 8 to 10. and you're a 4 to 5, you're just trying to push them out to compete with their 8 to 10. You know,
right? So what you really got is maybe one good one and a bunch of partials,
right?
Yeah.
Whereas they're 8 to 10, they're given they've sat in their mind really thought about these 8 to 10.
Yeah,
it's like when artists step into the booth and I tell them, I was like, yo, don't expect, because I get a lot of artists that step into the booth and it's their first time behind the mic inside the booth, and don't expect to be Jay-Z in here.
right.
We about to record this about 300 times.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like you know,
Yeah.
You know, you get in there, you keep doing it, and you do it until you don't think about it anymore, and then that's when you can add the emotion and the life into your music. Once it's not a thought anymore. Once you're not trying to technically break it down or trying to get a word right and stuff like that. Once you got it, then you got it, and that's really when, you know, me as an engineer, I'm like, all right, cool. I in my mind, I make a mental note, cool. Everything before the 30th take, I can throw away.
Yeah. Right.
You know,
Exactly. Yeah,
So-
it's big practice. You really have to practice this. This is an art. An art to record on over the microphone, or even making music production. All of that it's an art. And a lot of people get that twisted because they think, okay, yeah, I can do this. It's a click of a button, boom. I can do auto tune to fix my voice, boom. You know, and they go to the maximum with it, and they don't realize that's not the art of it. The art of it is within your body and your vision and what you can put out there.
that's right. And if you don't have a vision, concentrate on maybe trying to get one.
Vision board,
Yes.
2019.
Yes.
You brought up a point, and I want to get your take on this. I had a conversation with an artist who's in a live band, and the conversation, we were meeting, going over another project, and he was like, yeah, I just came from the studio. Man, I have to tell you, you know, I was getting frustrated with the producer because he kept telling me, you know, I didn't have the right energy for this and this and that, and I broke it down. I said, look, you so used to being on stage and feeling that energy from the crowd, and you're thriving in it because I've watched you perform multiple times. I know how well you perform things live. I said, but not when it's just you in the studio. It is a different vibe, and you have to realize you have to find that same energy, and you're not used to that. So they're trying to get that energy when you're live out of you because you're trying to record a live album. So it's a little different, you know. So you have to recognize that's the kind of person you want. You don't want this yes man who just goes, oh, perfect, take one, let's do it. Before you even finish, he's already going, like,
Right.
that's not the guy
No.
you want.
Exactly.
You know, what is your take on that?
Well, just, you know, two things. One is the live versus performance. I mean, live performance versus studio. It's really, like you just said, it's really difficult to translate that energy because they're two different entities. You know, you're in a confined space without a crowd, without loud blaring speakers. You know, you could blast your studio speakers unless you're like in an apartment or something and tell you turn it down, but it's still not the same thing. So you have to be able to be like, okay, I want to give that same energy, but I have to convert it into a structured settlement when I'm in the studio, as you know, vice versa. Okay, in the studio it's gonna be turned up this way, but then I'm gonna have to turn it up another way when I go live. Like I can take all the chains off because you want to make music be palatable, whether it's on speakers at home, in the office. You want it to be universal, so you have to be universal on every angle. Now, and the second thing is, man, like you talking about the yes man. Oh my goodness. You should be in this business because it's all about being transparent when you're doing this work, because it's just like when a chick likes you and you're trying to holler at her, she ain't gonna be yes man to you if she don't like you. And she may tell you in so many ways, be like, look, let's just be friends. Like, I can't deal with you, you know. She's not gonna be mean with it. She's gonna turn you down, but she ain't gonna be like, okay, we'll try it and see what happens. No. Same thing with the studio. Studio does not lie. If you don't put that energy out, even on live, if you don't put that energy out, you could hit. Look, I think there was a great quote by Beethoven that says, you could play a wrong note, but if you don't put the energy into it, that's inexcusable. And that's real. You got to put the energy in it.
I like that one. You hit me with the quote today.
We had the same philosophy dancing. You don't know that, but I came up in the music dancing and stuff. But we had the same philosophy dancing. Like if you was throwing a set, nobody knows you messed up, right? It's all about how you make it look, right? Yeah, you could fall, But if you fall and you smile and you laugh and you keep going and you act like that was the dopest move you did your whole set, nobody knows you messed up.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, it translates to every art form that you're throwing out there. Thinking about one of the craziest conversations I think we had here was the Kanye West conversation.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one.
He's dope. I look up to him, especially as a producer. Anybody who can go from rapping with their mouth wide shut to doing what they're doing right now, and I can tell you, I kid you not, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah,
he knows exactly what he's doing.
Yeah.
And when he, it's not I miss the old Kanye. It's like, wait till I put the new Kanye on top of the old Kanye. That's when you're gonna lose it.
I'm waiting for it.
It's coming.
I'm waiting.
It's coming.
I don't know if he's got the old Kanye left.
That's at the end of the day, like I said, he knows what he's doing. He's connected with the culture, and that's the thing. He's connected with what's going on right now, and that's all it is.
Is he connected, or is he so disconnected that we won't stop paying attention?
There's two sides to it, and that might be there's a disconnected side, but there's also a connected side.
I love Kanye. Like, Kanye's one of, in my top 5 of people, Kanye is there.
Yeah,
I can't deny, graduation, late registration, college dropout. I can't deny those.
Right.
Even 808s and Heartbreaks was dope.
Right.
Some of the newer Kanye stuff, I'm just like, ugh. He came out with Yeezus, and I was like, maybe not that one.
Yeah.
But Life of Pablo, it was alright. It wasn't as good as Graduation, in my opinion. And but I'm waiting for Kanye to revisit that struggle music. You remember, you know what I'm saying? It's like, in the beginning, when you're listening to Through the Wire, right, and you realize that it's got, it's a play on words, right, because he's got his mouth wide shut, he's rapping through the wires, right, but the level of I can't not make it in that song, I don't think we've ever gotten from Kanye again. You know what I'm saying? Whereas artists like Jay-Z, Jay-Z has given us, he's rekindled a new level of hustle, on his plateau, where he's like, okay, I'm up here, y'all might not relate to y'all the same way, but let me make my hustle relatable to you and show you where I'm trying to get to, because he gave himself a new goal. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then him and Beyonce as the Carters, they gave themselves a new goal. So then they give us back struggle music. It's just, it's not street struggle.
No, it's not.
It's multi-million-dollar struggle.
Right. But,
yeah.
But in that multi-millionaire struggle, and we talked about, again, man, I mean, it's funny, we're coming back to so many, on the fresh new start of the year, it's like we're doing a recap of the last year. I think that's what's happening right now. We're recapping so many other episodes in this conversation to start the new year. Yeah.
This is the first one of the year.
It's like mad skills. You know what I'm saying?
That's my dude.
Mad skills.
That's what it feels. But, what I feel like he's doing.
Did he do a recap for 2018?
I don't think so.
I thought he said the last one he was going to do was 2016.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It feels like, and we talked about this, it's like when you get that artist who's telling us about the struggle and we get behind them, and then when they make it, all they do is talk about things that they got, now they made it. They don't talk about how they made it and how to help you make it. Whereas Jay-Z, starting with 444, he came back and he brought us to how to make it. Even though I'm at this level, I'm gonna talk about how to make it. I don't have to come, I don't have to sit back in the hood to tell you how to get out the hood. And I can talk about where I'm at because it's relevant to where you at. And then we touched on it. That's why I feel so passionate about his verse on What's Free, is that he's literally talking about the things that are relatable to both sides of whether you up here or you down here. The things for that new artist trying to get up, you need to think about now. Because he's doing it now, but you need to think about it before you get to where I'm at to make a difference earlier. Because he said it best. Well, shit, like about 12 years ago, Hove did that, so hopefully you don't have to go through that. He's given us that.
Exactly.
What?
Right. He gave us what? The blueprint.
Exactly.
That's it.
That's what I'm saying. And that's what he's doing. He's giving us the blueprint again.
Right.
You know, by saying, look at what you're doing, man. Look at how to break it down. You know, you jumping all over the billboard. And the billboard don't mean nothing.
No.
You trying to get this quick deal. That quick deal don't mean nothing. Look at what you're investing in.
Right.
You know, because I've been there.
Yep.
You know?
It's just like, since we talking about, you know, recapping the last year, like, so on the kitchen in the last year, like, we got together and we started a business, right?
Right.
Doing, you know, media production. Well, I had this idea sitting inside of my head for like a year before we started the company that I wanted to do a podcast and I wanted to call it The Kitchen, right?
Right.
And, you know, I shared it with like one or two people, but I didn't really tell anybody until I got, you know, this team with me. And I was like, hey, guys, by the way, I've had this idea for a long time.
Right.
Right. And it was actually Art who was like, okay, so when we're doing it, like, you know, he was the one that was like, okay, so what why are we just sitting here? Like, let's do it. Like, that's dope. Right. And so then we struggled. Like, we started off with a GoPro. Right. And the only goal I had in my head, and I don't know what goals they had, but I know the goal I had in my head, I wanted to get to 52. 52 meant we had been consistent.
Right.
For 52 weeks, an entire year, we had been consistent and recorded at least one episode every week.
Right.
We did it. Right. We did it. Like, it was a struggle in the beginning, but we did it. We not only did that, we hit another goal that I didn't think we were ever going to hit, right, which was 100 followers. I know that's small for a lot of people, but like for us, like, we're just three brothers talking on mics.
Right. And that's a big deal.
Yeah. You know, like, I think right now we're sitting at like what, 120, 121, something like that. You know what I mean? So going back to what Lance was talking about, as far as like, you create your new starting point and you set your goal, and you're like, this year, like, for me, the goal is 1,000 followers, 1,000 subscribers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we got work to do.
Yeah.
Right. Because I want to multiply what we did last year times 10.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I already know that we can put out the shows. I already know that we can make this happen. I already know that there's dope people local like yourself that's willing to come and sit down with us, you know what I'm saying, and just converse.
Yeah.
And just talk about the state of the industry, the state of the music, the state of the country, the state of society.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And forward a conversation that I don't think enough people are willing to have openly.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely.
You know,
Agree.
So, you know, and I think since we're in the positive vibe and like the positivity just flowing all across the table and stuff, I think the message to tell everybody is, it's a new year, set a new goal, get back to the beginning of your hustle, right? Revisit the beginning of your hustle, right? Let the arrogance from last year go. Right.
Yeah.
You start over.
Yep.
It's time to grind again. It's time to hit the floor running. It's time to act like you never did anything yet.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have nothing. Everybody's better than you. Now what you gonna do?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's, you know.
I agree. Because I have to tell you, you know, taking what you're saying, for me, it's new year, new goals. Because if I hit my new goals, I'm automatically going to be a new me. So I don't need to say new year, new me. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Because new year, me, what's changing? You need something.
Well, I mean, this year you might actually trim your beard once or twice.
You know what I'm saying?
Wait,
I need to
who's
make
saying this?
Right.
I let mine grow.
I
let mine grow.
But I'm saying, I need to have goals. Like, just saying new year, new me, but what's new?
Right.
Like, set my goals, create my vision board, and knock that stuff off the block, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and most of us have some type of bad habit, and bad habits can turn into addiction. So most people don't realize that you can switch that habit. You can go on the other side. The other side of a bad habit or addiction is a good habit.
Yeah.
It's something that can change the environment, especially when it deals with you as a person, your energy.
Absolutely.
If you're ever able to do that, then you will change your world, change your thoughts, change your life, change your habits. It will change everything.
Everything. Yeah. I got a partner right now. This is a close friend of mine, like my brother. And it took him 10 months total, I think. He had a dream to write apps. Mm-hmm. Right? He was like, I want to make an app. I want to make an app. I want to make an app. He just said it for a while, right? And then he buckled down and like for 10 months he just studied. He locked himself away like a hermit. We didn't see him. Every now and then he would text us. 10 months later he came out and he's like, hey, by the way, I got an app. He learned code and everything. You know, right now he's got a job as an IT at a firm.
Wow.
He didn't go to school.
Wow.
He didn't go to school for it. He ain't got no degree in it.
Yeah.
But I tell you right now, he started telling me about apps. I listen. You know what he's talking about.
Wow.
He set a goal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like, it's stuff like that. When you got people around you like that, it's like, yeah, man, I can do anything.
Yeah.
I can do anything.
Yeah.
Right?
I didn't go to school for music production, but I do it like some of the best.
Look, that's because why? You wanted it.
I wanted it. I buckled down. I did it every day. I breathed it. I barely went to sleep when I was learning it. Yeah. People made jokes about, he's a zombie when I was growing up. Some people think I'm still a zombie, but I'm so good at the craft that I can just think about what I want to make, and it takes me 5 minutes to make it.
That's crazy.
Because I know the actual application that I'm using.
You know the process and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what's up. So, on the tip of music production, let's talk about music production.
Sure.
Let's talk about mic bass.
Yeah.
Right? Let's talk about, tell us, like, of course you got, you work with Trombone Shorty.
Yeah, I've been with him for 19 years. Ain't counting. We're still working together.
Wow. 19 years. So that means you've been professionally playing since you was, 15?
Yep, 15.
Yeah.
Yep.
My math is good.
You got really good math.
2 + 2 = 4. Minus 1, that's 3 quick maths. Shit. So you've not only played here, but what other places have you played?
Man, I've played all over the world except Antarctica.
Okay.
Boom. Boom.
Right?
But 2019,
Iceman cometh.
Yeah. Go ahead, scientists. Have a party. Have us come.
Goals.
Right.
Yeah, because you can't go there unless you're a scientist and you have like a invite. You have to be invited to Antarctica. You can't just waltz up on there because there's scientists up and down that place.
You know why?
Yeah.
You know I know why.
Right. I know, you know that I know that you know why.
Yeah,
well,
there's probably a bunch of cosmos there.
It's the edge of the earth. That's where you can fall off, right? Because that's where they got the wall.
Yeah,
that's
exactly. Yeah, they're trying to transport it. You right?
Just saying.
Speaking of recaps, since that was the first episode of The Kitchen was about the flat earths.
Oh wow,
it really was.
Yeah.
It was a flat earth and Jaden Smith.
Let me tell you something. You gonna respect the flat earthers all around the world. Around the world.
Did you see the headline? The flat earthers from around the globe.
Yeah, around the globe. Yes.
Oh my god, it was bananas.
I want you to repeat that slowly.
But back to you. Like, so tell us more. Like, so work with Trombone Shorty. Who else in the city have you worked with, or are working with?
Man, I mean, band wise, with the live style thing, I actually work with, Dawn Richard from Danny Kane. I worked with her before she got with Making the Band and went out there. I've performed with a lot of people in the city, like even my teachers like Don Harrison, Clyde Kerr Jr., Edward Kid Jordan. That's jazz, jazz musicians and pillars of the city. Also, I branched into music production, and once I did that, that's when everything started, expanding and stuff like that. So I've worked with a couple of artists up and coming and still working on their craft. Young Gus, That's one of our artists here in the city. He's from Chicago, but he's been living in New Orleans for decades since he went to Dillon University.
Okay. Did you go to Dillon?
I didn't, but
Okay.
I was a intern. I was teaching with Maynard Chatters.
Okay.
Yeah, assisting teaching him, and that's how I met a lot of people from Dillon University, like Streets and
wow.
Yeah.
That's deep right there, man.
Yeah. Bunch of cats.
It's like a Goodwill Hunting story.
Exactly. And right now, as of date, like I'm building relationships with any artist that I possibly can that has some talent and really is serious about pushing the craft, forward. Like this guy by the name of Raheim Gadsby. There's this other cat by the name of Shaq. He's really dope. There's this other girl by the name of Keontae. She's a dope singer. There's just an endless list of just artists in the city, and I probably got about 50 of them that I'm working with right now.
Wow. Dang. 50. That's crazy.
Yeah.
How do you keep track of it?
I actually don't. I need to write it down before I lose track.
Man, I just some of them somebody knock at the door.
Some of them are
right. Come on in.
Like there's this group called M.A.D Groceries, and they came up to me and was like, "Dude, we listened to your tracks back in high school." I was like, "We got the link. We got to work together." Then their label mates by the name of Mac, M.A.Q. You ever heard of him? Mac Supreme. He came up to me, "Dude, we got to work." I'm like, these cats know me, but I barely know them because I've been producing since 2000.
Wow.
And I would just be in a hermit's crab, just in my like when I was in high school, I'd be in the hallway, up and down the stairs making beats. They'll hear me from that. I'll make music for people in the studio. I wouldn't go out and catch up with people and connect and build a networking relationship, but they want to build a networking relationship with me. So the minute I go out, I have all these people saying, "Dude, I know your stuff. I'm your biggest fan. Let's work." Like, dope.
That's dope. See, a lot of times you don't get to see like people that have been working in the industry just willing to work with amateur artists. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's dope. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because you don't. That's one of the issues like we were talking about in the industry as it is today. Like you can't really get a leg up unless you've been doing stuff for 20 or 30 years.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you got to have this pedigree, but it's like, where do you start the pedigree if nobody's willing to just throw you a bone?
Well, yeah, it's because the industry is looking. They've thrown out the artist development window, and because they've thrown out the artist development window, they expect you to walk in and touch anything and turn it to gold. And because of that, and if you're a novice, you're out of the running right away, and that's crazy. I guess they do a lot of comparisons too. Like oh, you sound like Drake, but we already have a Drake. You sound like Beyonce or Jay-Z, but we already have that. So it makes it hard for you to become your best version of yourself because they're already comparing you to the best.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and then you don't have a chance to evolve because everybody starts off sounding like somebody.
Yes.
Because that's how inspiration works.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we used to have this saying. Well, at least I did when I was dancing. I used to tell people all the time because I don't know if you ever been in a dance competition like a battle.
Nah, I've been to them. I've seen them. I didn't compete. I wasn't a dope dancer. Yeah.
You ever seen dudes on the side like why people are battling? They do this.
Right.
Right. So that means like they're biting somebody else's move.
Oh wow.
Right. And I used to have this saying. I used to tell people, especially on amateur battles, be like, yo, you got to bite before you chew. You know what I mean? Like why you getting on this person for biting? Like that's dope that they can do that move.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so it's if you got somebody that sounds like Beyonce or sounds like Drake, that's dope.
Right. That means they worked on their craft. They did a great job of mimicking.
Yeah.
And if they can mimic that well with that, imagine what they can do when they become an individual.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. You know what I mean? Because if you're already saying they sound like Drake, that means Drake is here and they're probably like here. Right. So if you can coach them up to here, you've got a multi-million-dollar artist.
Point blank.
Right.
Point blank.
Yeah. But like you said, they get rid of artist development, and so inevitably those people end up staying here, or they end up getting a 9 to 5 and dropping to here.
Right. Well, if you stay stagnant, you're gonna fall anyway because you're not growing, and growth is a big part of the process of doing music or anything in this business. Yeah.
Yep. So, yo, bro, appreciate you being here with us tonight, man.
Thank you very much.
Yo, hey, if you can come back, you're always welcome.
I would love that. Thank you very much.
For sure.
Great conversation. Great conversation.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. So anytime you want to come through, just be like, hey, yo, B, what y'all doing? We with it.
Sounds great, man. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the support, man. And this is an amazing platform that you have here, man. Keep it going.
Thank you.
It's going to blow up even further.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. And look, as always, you know what I mean? If you guys like this episode, go and hit that like button. If you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. And when you hit that subscribe button, make sure you hit the bell next to it. So when we drop the video, you get the notification. And with that, tonight, we're going to go out on one of Mr. Mike Bass's tracks with Raheim Gadsby, Mary Jane Love.
I'm in love with a girl, and you may know her name, Mary Jane. I'm in love with her, and may things never change, Mary